Evaluating the appeal of the Macintosh Neo. This is MacVoices. MacVoices is supported by Squarespace. Get online, build your site, promote your brand, and get paid all in one place at squarespace.com/MacVoices. Use the offer code MacVoices for 10% off your first website or domain purchase. Welcome to MacVoices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, I apologize in advance. I have a little bit of a cold, so I'm going to try not to cough or sneeze at you. So if I'm going for the microphone and hope I make it. So I will apologize in advance, but I'm going to try to control things. At least I can control that. I know I can't control the panel because that's just not possible. So let's find out who's here. Dave Ginsburg, in a still unpacking mode because he's got his background blurred. Dave, good to see you.
Yeah, well, what the heck, I got this thing working the way, so I can't focus on getting it all done. And then when I come home and from work, you're tired. So but I got the important things set up here, so I'm happy. In fact, I just got my second monitor over here, and now I have two 34-inch monitors, so I'm sitting like side by side here with me now. So I'm happy, but doing good. Had a bit of a weird weather here, but beyond that, glad to be here.
What do you mean move? Did you move?
I did move.
Really?
I moved to a new house.
Wow.
Yeah, bought a new house.
Yeah. So
congratulations, I guess.
Yeah, thank you.
We've been picking on him the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm going to go off order here, since the other voice you just heard was Mr. Jim Ray. Jim, good to see you and hear you, because I know you were having some audio issues, but glad you got them worked out.
I am here for you to control me.
Oh my God, I'm glad Jeff's not here.
No.
Only know God knows what he had done with that.
I'm trying to pick up the slack.
The slack,
so to speak. Yeah.
Marty Jencius is here, dressed in black. Marty, you look like an undercover operative of some kind, but I'm not sure.
Well, I've got a talking heads shirt on that says "Stop Making Sense."
Oh, okay.
So I thought it was appropriate for the show tonight. I'm excited because after the show's over, I'm going to drive over to the mall that holds my Apple store, and I'm going to stand outside waiting for the mall and the store to open tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. just because we used to.
Little nostalgia, Marty?
Yeah. And unfortunately, nobody else will show up, but what the heck?
In the first place, I hope you don't get mugged. In the second place, I hope the police don't pick you up. So,
Good thing you don't live where I am, because the mall closed permanently a couple months ago.
Wow. Brian Flanigan-Arthurs is here. Brian, it's good to have you. I know that the time change has wreaked a little havoc with your schedule, but I'm glad you made it.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much for having me.
And last but not least, sneaking in under the wire is Mr. Mark Fuccio. Mark, good to have you as always.
Hello, everyone.
So, and I think we have at least one more panel member, I believe, is coming a little bit later. So we'll flesh it out even a little more. To start tonight, though, we should sort of revisit last week just a touch, because last Tuesday night we had the Monday announcements and the Tuesday announcements and from Apple. And then on Wednesday, after our show last time, Apple dropped what ended up being the really big bomb, and that was the Macintosh Neo. So that's where we're going to start tonight. If you are interested in all the other Apple announcements, go back to last week's show, because that's where we covered all those. And before we get to it, I knew there was one more panelist, and he got here, Mr. Webb Bixby. Webb, good to have you.
Good to be here. We're facing a little bit of a storm and hailing here, but no lightning, so I'm just going to take my chances. So.
Good. Well, there are no wires connected to you personally, so if we lose you, we lose only the connection. No, don't do that, Webb. Was biting his cable. So the Macintosh Neo, everybody and their brother seemed to be expecting a low-cost Mac. I'm not sure anybody expected what we got because this has been so well received by not everybody, but by so many. And I was shocked to see that even a number of members of the MacVoices panel and some members of our Slack have placed orders for their MacBook Neos. So I'm not sure if it's a confession or not, but who here got one or has one on order? Wow. Okay. Marty and Mark in this crew. And I know there are others.
Not the Neo.
What, Dave?
I said not the Neo.
Nothing. Yeah, you got everything else. So let's start with why, because honestly, I didn't really think of this group as a Neo kind of audience. Marty, start with you. Why did you pick up a Neo, or are you picking up a Neo?
Yeah, I am picking up a Neo. I got some other products that I'll be picking up. So the Apple Store and I are going to be close friends over the next week. I was interested in it because of the potential use in education, and not only for students, but also the K through 12 and college. And also, I work with a lot of international teachers who are looking for reliable, low-cost laptops. And I think this provides them with an option. They always covet getting an Apple computer, but they don't quite have the pocketbook for it. What I have been amazed by, because I follow a lot of stuff on Reddit, a lot of experts who haven't laid their hands on the device have really strong opinions about how lousy it's going to be. And so there's a lot of that conversation going on. And it's just today we're starting to see some reviews come out from various tech media, and they're like, hey, this is actually pretty good. I wish it had a lighted keyboard, or I wish I had this, or wish I had that. But frankly, it does what I need it to do and what many people will need to do. So I every time I read a negative review this week or a negative comment on it, it was like, yeah, so tell me how much time you actually spent with the device. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to playing with it tomorrow. So,
yeah, the Bob Beach in the chat room says he's going to get his today because where he is, it's past midnight already. So, there's another taker. Mark, I don't know why, but you were the guy that I never thought would even consider this one. Why did you decide to pick up a Neo?
Okay, so in our chat room, I think it was in general, maybe it was MacVoices, but I think it was in general. I don't know, about a month ago, I sort of reported had battery fail issues on my 2018 iPad Pro, 13-inch, 12.9-inch iPad Pro, and was looking around to replace it. And I had a number of text messages back and forth with Marty about processors and upgrades and things. And when this one, came, so before Wednesday, I was looking at, okay, we have some new iPads and looking at it, and my biggest complaint was, other than the battery life, which after 6.5, almost 7 years, batteries die, was I had been through two keyboards. One was the Apple Magic Keyboard, and then the other one was a Typecase, third-party keyboard, and they both, they had kind of an acceptable experience, but they both gave up the ghost and died. And just looking at the new Apple things, and so the new Apple keyboard, if I remember right, it's like $359. So that's like 60% of the new MacBook Neo. So I bought this, more as a replacement for my laptop consumption device, and because it's a Mac, it'll have so much more capability than the iPad had. Despite Apple trying for years to improve windowing and other things on that device, it never moved the needle to me, especially with bad keyboard experience, to actually do anything on it other than, maybe read and do short email responses and then consume media, both, written and video and also audio sometimes. So that's what it was. It's, I think basically this is maybe going to tear a hole in the mid-range of the iPad, territory, because let's face it, the iPads are great if you go for stuff at the high end. At the low end, maybe they're more consumptive devices, but I think the Neo is going to offer a much better, much more interesting experience. Probably the hard part is going to be, if I'm watching it, to train myself not to try to touch the screen and have to go try to use the trackpad. So in that regard, I think they've hit a home run. And to Marty's point about people talking about how horrible it's going to be, and it's only an iPhone processor, and then the Apple people talk about, well, just look at the specs and things. I would just note that if you look at the screen dimensions on the M1 MacBook Neo, and iPhone Pro Max, from which the processor chip derived, that the MacBook Neo has the least number of pixels. The iPhone, the iPhone Pro Max, the one that I have, this has 4.4% more pixels on this than the MacBook has. So I think just on the face of it, anyone saying, it's going to be slow and horrible performance and blah 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 blah. Not only do they have their head up their butt because they haven't touched hands on them, but even just looking at the specs and the speeds and feeds, that's an unsupportable argument. Back to you, Chuck.
Yeah. So first of all, I want to welcome Eric Bolden. He made it. Eric, I understand you're having maybe some weather too.
Yeah, a little bit. In this case, it was just me being distracted and not being in the right time zone.
I texted him.
Okay. Well, we're glad you made it, and of course, we have to ask about your background before we ask anything else.
Cranes. What are they called? The
Egrets?
Dinosaurs.
No, they are cranes. It's the question is which one.
Fraser.
Sandhill crane. Oh man, it's been a very long day.
Apparently so.
But they're dancing, and you don't get to see them dancing very often. So
okay.
All right.
So before, we're not going there. I want to so bad, but I'm not going to. Eric, we're just going around the room talking about who ordered or is going to pick up a Neo. Are you amongst the Neo people?
One more day.
Okay, so what drove your decision?
Many months ago, I asked for an iPad processor running Mac OS. Really, I wanted a keyboard, a screen that I could use with the Vision Pro. And poof, Apple shipped a keyboard, a screen that I could use as the Vision Pro. Whole lot easier than the configuration I was using, carrying around a Mac Mini and an iPad and trying to plug them all together. And it was cheap. And it's a color you can see if you drop it in the middle of the woods on a pile of leaves.
Okay, that's fair.
That is exactly what Apple was going for.
And they succeeded.
Well, okay, so it's not just the members of this panel, but it also is a lot of other people, because I'm throwing in the chat room. Now, this is, as we record this, a day old. So I did not see another estimate today, but there may have been one. I just didn't see it. That the availability was tightening, that shipping dates were slipping, availabilities were not available. Now, we don't know anything about what kind of supply they had already, but even if it was a lower end supply, it seems that already this is hitting a lot of people right where they want to be.
Weren't there stories over the weekend, or no, I guess last weekend before the week, that Apple was telling, their store personnel to be ready, that this was, to expect large traffic? Didn't I see stories along those lines?
I don't remember
I'm sure I
seeing
did.
those.
I'm sure
Yeah,
I did.
okay.
It was like the Saturday, Sunday before the, we're going to have these announcements all week. And I know I saw a story. I think, Chuck, you said you were surprised by this announcement. To me, like a year ago or whatever, there was the first rumor of Apple coming out with a laptop with the iPhone chip. This announcement is exactly what I expected on that day. It's like they came out with exactly what I expected them to, which I think is great. I feel, I'm not going to get one this week or probably soon, but I feel like I am going to own one of these at some point. I don't know. It's just too adorable. And I think it'd be great for travel. I don't want to take my super expensive, M4 that has all my source code on it and everything. So, just a neat little extra computer, I think.
Jim, the fact that they brought it out maybe wasn't as much of a surprise because it had been telegraphed quite a bit. But the part I didn't expect was this kind of reception, this kind of popularity. And I'm not sure if it has to do with the feature set or the price or all the positive things we've been seeing about the Neo or what. But it's great to see because I feel like it has to bring more people into the Macintosh ecosystem. So we'll see.
I think, the price is probably, if it was $200 more, I think there would be a lot less enthusiasm. But also the fact that it's in cool colors. I think that's, that's also a thing.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
very, very, very affordable. And, just like when the iMacs first came out and I think at that time there were people like, what the heck are they doing? Computers don't come in colors. And Apple has sort of gotten away from that. So it's kind of, look, Marty's got it on his wall behind him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yum.
Yeah. Good point. Mark, you have a comment about availability?
Yes. So I guess what it was launched Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday I looked, and there seems to be ample availability. Saturday night, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock ish, California time, I placed an order. I asked my wife, and she wasn't sure. She wanted to think of, well, do I want to keep my, she has a 10.5-inch iPad Pro. Do I want to keep this or do I want to turn it in? And Sunday night she decided, yes, let me get the one in the blush, the rose color, and boom, mine's available for pickup tomorrow, and hers is scheduled for delivery the 24th to 31st of this month. So it seems to me that maybe there was a sudden avalanche over the weekend of people digesting the news, looking at the price and having a holy crap sort of experience and, placing the orders. And, I want to put a footnote because I think, after we talk about, our reactions to device and ordering and so on, we should come back and revisit, the 30,000 foot view of what this means for Apple, in the personal computer space versus Windows.
Yeah.
Which, if you can't see in the background, so there's a number of, I'll post some of the links in the chat room, but, among ourselves, we have a number of things. There's this guy who has these humorous videos, and he had one about, the MacBook, MacBook Neo, where he said, "Oh, I'm from Microsoft. We're the company that copies everything Apple does and makes it worse."
Yeah, those were some great videos. The second one, the second one I saw was my favorite. But yeah, and of course it's complete parody. But there's
no. It's like a lot of satire. It has its elements in truth.
Yeah, exactly. MacVoices is supported by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform for building and managing your online presence. So what happens after you launch your website? That's the question a lot of people forget to ask. Building the site is only the first step. The real value comes from being able to update it, expand it, and keep it working for you. That's where Squarespace really shines. Squarespace gives you everything you need in one place to run your online presence. You start with beautifully designed templates that make your site look polished and professional right from the beginning. But just as important, updating your site later is just as easy. Need to add a new page, post an update, change some text, swap photos, or promote a new project? With Squarespace, you can do it in minutes. No coding and no wrestling with complicated tools. And it's not just about the website itself. Squarespace includes built-in hosting, domain management, analytics, and powerful tools to help you promote your brand and grow your audience. If you're starting from scratch, Squarespace Blueprint AI can even guide you through a few simple questions and generate a site layout tailored to what you want to do. From there, you customize as much or as little as you like. So if you've been thinking about launching a website or improving the one that you already have, this is the time. Visit squarespace.com/MacVoices for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code MacVoices to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Squarespace, everything you need to build, maintain, and grow your web presence. Thanks to Squarespace for supporting MacVoices. Marty, you brought up in our private chat, though, that blush seems to be the one that is the hot seller. Now, if I remember correctly, you went with citrus.
I went with two colors.
You bought two?
Neapolitan.
Indigo?
Yeah, Neapolitan. No, I did, but I wasn't blush. The second choice wasn't blush. It was indigo.
That's what I got.
I will find a place for that, a person or a place. So y'all better start treating me right. Because I have one too many Neos hanging around.
Okay, so, well, and if I remember, well, your comments in our chat room kind of hinted at it, but you seem to be a bit disturbed by the blush. That that was not.
I just don't. Didn't we have enough pink with the Barbie movie already? I mean, there's and it's a blush, but I like the fact that people are referring to it as calamine because it's the same color as calamine lotion. So,
okay,
that's strong. Is that strong a red? Really, Marty?
Well, yeah, that's kind of the joke, about it. Just like presidential orange is with the iPhone.
Well, this is not a political show.
I know.
And maybe it's not a medical show.
I didn't say which president.
Yeah.
So.
and I was surprised at you being surprised because pink seems such a pink of some kind seems such an obvious kind of choice for and I don't want to say all the girls bought pink because I'll get in serious trouble, but there is a faction out there of the female audience that prefers pink, and so why not play to that?
Hey, these are more becoming fashion items, and yes, they are computers, but the colors make them fashion items. And at a $4.99, $5.99, $6.99 price point, depending on if you're a student or not, yes, you can buy one every year, every other year, and not put it in the bank.
I was really holding out for the A18 Ultra chip, but when they said that wasn't coming.
Well,
That's a joke,
guess-
Chuck. There is no Ultra chip.
no, I know. Thank you.
Not yet.
I'm not that far gone. No, I guess, Marty, I don't know. Think about all the discussions we've had every year about the iPhone covers and what they are and who's going to buy what and what the logic is. And that seems to fit into this. Now, if Kelly Gamont were here, I know she'd be throwing a fit because she has always been upset that Apple's colors never seem to match, that they do different tones, variations, and she wants to see like a whole outfit, a whole tech outfit in the same color. And I'm absolutely convinced that this is intentional, and they don't want to do a full tech outfit. They want to have all these various colors and force you to choose from them. And if one doesn't punch your button, maybe the next one will.
Yeah, I looked for watch bands. I thought, frankly, citrus was going to be the hot color for the run, and was surprised when we started to see reports that people are going after the pink, but not too surprised.
Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Facebook group or like our Facebook page, and get more out of your Apple tech with MacVoices Magazine, free on Flipboard and on the web. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us through either our Patreon campaign at patreon.com/MacVoices, or by making a one-time donation via the PayPal link on our front page and in the show notes of each episode. You will join these fine people who help bring you Mac Voices. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.